Okay, Big Train fans, we're here with Eric Cole from the Dandy Walker Alliance. I got to tell you before we want to talk about the Dandy Walker Alliance, but I got to tell you that Eric has been an enormous help in the recreation of the Bethesda Community Baseball Club. So when we were able to bring the fun back to Povich Field in 2021, Eric is just an absolutely key guy. So Eric, thank you for all the support you've given Big Train, and thank you for the wonderful work you do with the Dandy Walker Alliance. Would you tell our viewers about the Alliance?
So the Dandy Walker Alliance was founded in 2006. This is after our son was born with Dandy Walker syndrome in 2005. The reason we founded the organization was we did not have the chance to meet any families before our son was born and ask a lot of questions like, what's it like to raise a child with Dandy Walker syndrome, or what can we expect? So in 2006, we started the organization to primarily connect families and be able to support one another. And out of that nonprofit, we started to raise money. And so over the years, what we were able to do is to actually begin funding research on our own to look for genes involved in the birth defect. And over the years, we've now been able to expand that. So with 14 years under our belt, wow, there are a lot of lessons learned, but we've been able to fund a lot of research and publish a lot of papers so that scientists around the world will benefit directly or indirectly from what we're learning.
Tell us more about how you help the families. That must just be incredibly valuable to the families.
So initially, a lot of the questions that we get are, what's it like to raise a child with a hindbrain malformation, and can I do this? And so we've gotten, very good about being able to answer those questions, but also you become experts over time about things like insurance and Medicaid waivers and catastrophic limits. So you're able to address some of the financial questions that they might have and steer them to resources local to them so that they understand there is a wide support network out there that can help them through this. They're not on their own. They're not going to be financially devastated, and they can do that. And so we can plug them right in with other families in their local communities so that they can ask all the questions they want, get the support that they need. And many times they come scared because they're given a grim prognosis, particularly in utero. And then when they meet a bunch of families that are able to say, well, here's what it's really like to raise a kid like this, they say, okay, we can do that.
Yeah. Wow. That's beautiful. You must feel so isolated and alone when you learn about this, and to know there's other people and there's people right there in your community.
You feel like you're the only, initially with the diagnosis, it's certainly a punch in the gut. Yeah. But what I think many families grow to find is, because it's a tight-knit community and it's a giving community, is that, everyone wants to help one another. And when you enter into that sort of relationship with other people who are, giving without any expectation of return, you find out that everyone's very genuine, and you can let your guard down and you can be vulnerable and get the help that you need.
Wow, that is beautiful. And so the reach of this is international, I guess.
Right. We started in the U.S., but now we support these families all over the world, and we fund research that involve themselves or their children or their loved ones who have Dandy Walker syndrome. So one of the stories I like to tell is, a couple of years ago, I got an email from a family their daughter was newly diagnosed from Lahore, Pakistan. And in under 2 hours, we were able to connect them with 2 other families in Lahore, Pakistan. Wow. So that they could swap resources about what specialists they were using, what therapists they were using, and get them plugged into the medical community that was already familiar with this birth defect.
Well, this is a beautiful thing you've done. How can people help the Dandy Walker Alliance?
I think if they hear about Dandy Walker syndrome or other hindbrain malformations, they can certainly push them to our organization. And even if it's another diagnosis, we can get them plugged in that community, the rare disease community and the birth defect community. We're very close knit. And so everyone wants to help one another. So people can go to dandy-walker.org. And again, we will get them channeled into the right place. Everything we do is completely free, so we don't require any membership. We never wanted anyone to feel compelled to have to join to benefit from any of the programming that we do, or the consulting that we're able to do with them. So if they're not sure, you should just reach out and ask. And what we'll do is we'll share what we can do, and then we'll vector them to the people that could help them better if there's another organization out there.
That's great. Eric, thank you for your work. Can you give that website one more time? There's a dash in there, right?
That's right. It's dandy-walker.org. So the birth defect is named after two doctors who discovered it.
Wow. So that's Eric Cole, the Dandy Walker Alliance. Eric, thank you so much for the work you do, and thank you for what you're doing for Big Train. You've been just an enormous leader in our effort to bring the fun back to Povich Field next year.